welcome to your reading for this week. And yeah, I hope you've had a glorious kind of couple of weeks. And yeah, we are here to pick your pile. I feel like I've already forgotten every single thing that I was going to say. So this is going to be a really good week. This is a timeless reading. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. It's for entertainment purposes only and all of that. But yeah, this is the reading that I'm doing for your upcoming week. So we have pile 1, which you've got this really cute, like orangey. For some reason, it reminds me of carnival. But a butterfly. There's like an additional bit. I feel like I can pull that out. So yeah, and that looks like a love heart. How cute is that? I don't really know where to put that. Little scrappy bits. I'll put it there. But yeah, it reminds me of this like carnival. You've got the kind of like daisy looking sketches and a really cute little orangey butterfly. And that's well sweet. And then you've got pile 2, which is slightly more spring for me. And this always reminds me of these little star things of like pixie dust. And, like things coming along and they're just leaving a trail of pixie dust for you. That's pile 2. Could also be you leaving a trail of pixie dust and lifting others up as well. And then pile 3 reminds me of like a kind of Halloween. This is very much like, if any of you are Powerpuff Girls fans, this is this is very much the vibe of the butterflies that they would kind of pick in their personalities. But yeah, this is like more of a Halloweeny, gothy kind of thing. It looks like eyes here, kind of a psychic kind of thing. Yeah, super cute. So that's pile 3. But yeah, please go ahead and pick your piles and we'll get cracking. Hello, pile 1. So let's have a look. I feel like I've already said everything in the introduction. Here you've got a bit of excess clinging on that I would just want to kind of cleanse off. I feel like some of you need a little bit of a cleanse, just kind of shake away all the stuff that's hanging over you as well. Yeah. It definitely reminds me of kind of like a summer carnival vibes. This pink kind of wine. There's a real lovely kind of romantic almost thing to this, a real vibrancy to this butterfly, and it's really cute, these like daisy flowers. Yeah, I know daisies are slightly more spring, but this is reminding me of kind of summer carnival, that kind of thing. So we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Are we in shot? Go with that. Friday, still in shot. Saturday and a Sunday. Whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to hit the camera. I do that a lot. So I'm going to do these cards, pull a fairy card, pull a happy-ish, and then the what's the tea to kind of get the vibe as well. I feel like your week, I know we haven't pulled these round yet and I haven't seen these. I feel like your week is slightly up and down a little bit. It's not anything dramatic, never is, but just it's like I'm seeing like a seesaw, that kind of level here. So let's have a look. Monday, success, gorge. Tuesday, strength, gorgeous. Wednesday, got a bit of worry. There's your up and down. Thursday, got the sun, which is yes, and nude cherubs. Oh, if I can pull this piece of paper up, we'll just cover up some nudity. I'm just putting that little speckly thing in the bowl. I'll clear that later. Friday, nice. Saturday, balance, and then Sunday. We've learned from our week. Yeah, this is gorgeous. This is a really nice, really strong week ahead for you. There is a bit of an up and downness to it as well. You can see the mix of different things here. So we've got Monday, which is success. We have everything in our circle, everything in place, our projects, our whatever we need to come to fruition and completion. We're laser locked on it, mesmerized is what I'm getting. There's a fixation of, I'm going to get this work done, I'm going to do 3 days worth of work and get it done in a day kind of thing. There's a real focus here, and a real energy and a power to Monday. So whatever you set your sights on doing on Monday will get completed. It'll be fine. Apologies if I keep hitting the camera. It is very close to me, so you're effectively not quite looking over my shoulder, but you're not far off, kind of thing. And then Tuesday, we've got the strength card. You've got all your arrows aligned perfectly. You've got this real energy that's come from like the Monday. here. There's a focus. You know, there's real balance with the sun and the moon, and you've got the sun and the sun here as well. Everything feels really good. This is very much a, you know, you've got all your ducks in a row. You've got all your eggs in their baskets. It's, yeah, a very much a, you're feeling your vibe and your strength. I feel like on Tuesday, some of you will be like, I want to go to the gym. I want to, you know, take up running and do all those things. And that's great. You can do all those things. Bear with me. Jinxie, what are you doing, sweetheart? She's having a nap, and then she's changed her position, and then her tail has just gone and tried to move all the tarot cards as well that I have on my side. Okay, babes. You feel like you're in a bit of a snooze. Yeah, she's half asleep. Looking at me, but she's half asleep. Anyway, maybe that's you. This week, you kind of look and you focus and there's a real energy, but you're still half asleep. Maybe be careful of your tail for knocking things over. Wednesday, there's a worry here. You know, have I rushed too fast? Have I moved too quickly with stuff? Do I need to pay more attention to detail or anything else? And I really just want to tell you that this worry has got nothing to do with reality. It's just worry. You know, you're trying to protect yourself. You're trying to survive. You know, you're fine. You know, but Wednesday you will be sat in this kind of worried energy, this kind of like narrative, internal narrative of just second guessing and doubting yourself. And we all do it. I do when I'm doing the tarot readings. The thing is with tarot is, especially with me, I don't know with others readers, but I forget the messages that I'm saying or I'm talking about because I'm just channeling. So I could be partway through this reading or the whole readings for the week and completely forget every single thing that I've said, which happens all the time. You know, do it in the middle of the reading. And that's where sometimes I repeat myself as well, because I'm like, have I said this? That's really important. Let me say that again. Maybe the person hasn't listened. It's all that kind of stuff. And we do that naturally, and that's okay. It's fine. It's always worse in our heads than what it is in reality as well. And then you have Thursday, which is the kind of sun card as well, which is a great big yes. Like, everything is fine. You know, there's not much else I want to say about Thursday other than, you know, it's the opposite to your kind of Wednesday, and that, you know, you get the confirmation that you need. You get the feedback that you need. You get whatever the information is that you need in order to kind of shine a light on your fears and your worry, and to be like, nah, everything's fine. Like, and you kind of, there's almost some of you that feel silly for worrying because you're like, oh, I'm stuck in my own narrative again. It's that kind of stuff. It's fine. Everything is fine. And then on Friday, you've got the star, which is about taking ideas, it's taking feedback, it's taking criticism, it's taking whatever it is and turning it into crystallization. It's like a newness and almost like I'm just going to move a sec. There we go. It's almost like a readjustment. There we go. You know, I'm really drawn to this kind of star here. That's spinning and creating. It's moving very slowly, but it's almost like it's creating, I was going to say vortex, or a, what is it called? A twister, like a tornado kind of thing. You know, it starts very, very small and then gradually builds momentum. And that's your success. That's your energy. That's where you are this week. You're still very up and down, but I'm drawn again to the swirly thing. You know, you're moving slower than kind of where you were at the start of the week, but you're still building momentum. You're just taking a minute, you know, to allow feedback and criticism and all the rest of it. It doesn't have to just be work. You can relate this to family, to love life, to anything else, to your shadow self. If you're journaling, you know, some of you are wanting to journal more and write things down. You know, it is about small movements, very small movements. And again, some of you want to go gym or to run or whatever else to have healthier habits. A slowness. You know, you don't create success overnight. Some people are very lucky and they do, but there's a gradual build to it. I feel like some of you are YouTube creators, and you'll know that there's always a dip, you know, with stuff where things build and they create momentum and then they dip for a bit and then they rise back up. It's just natural. That's the seesaw kind of element of it. And then you got Saturday, which is all about adjustment. You see the way she balances on that sword, and I'm really drawn to it always makes me laugh, that little unhappy face. Which is funny, but the eyebrow, but this is a very serious sword of clarity as well, and about having that complete balance within yourself, outside of yourself, knowing what is it that you need, what are your needs, and creating this balance. Because we're building things slowly. You know, you can't sustain an explosion. So I'm seeing now like the Big Bang, in the way that it was this mass explosion, and then gradually as things get further and further away, they kind of slow down. They're still moving, there's still movement, but it's slower, and it's I was gonna say gentler. It might not be, I don't know, I'm not a scientist, but it's that aspect. I feel like some of you needed to hear it in that way. And then Queen of Wands on a Sunday, which is really, this is a gorgeous card and a gorgeous story. This is about humbling yourself in the presence of others. It is, this tarot deck is thoth or troth, whatever you want to call it. Nobody told you how to pronounce these things in the 90s when I was doing this, but you know, in this aspect for this card and this deck, this is the Queen of Wands. There's a humbleness to her. So you have the Queen of Wands. She had dark hair, and there was a leopard, not a leopard, sorry, a panther was her cat. And she'd been through, that was her shadow self. She'd been through her shadow self. She'd worked on herself. She'd worked through how she deals with success as well as failure and everything else. And then, you know, her hair became blonde. She became enlightened. It's not to say blondes are enlightened at all. Just take it as a story. And, you know, the panther became the lion. So she's in her courage. She's in her element. She's in her full kind of sunshine glory. But the thing is about that is you almost become, if you stay in that kind of over toxicity, you know, or toxic positivity, I should say, there's kind of a narcissism to that, or an ego. And she's humbled herself. So she's neither her shadow self, the kind of sitting in negative emotions, and neither her toxic positive state. She is both. So she has the red hair, and then the panther then becomes the lion, then becomes the leopard. And you can see where it has lion-esque features, and also the black spots from the panther, where she's both herself and the cat, or feline, are, you know, they've got great success. And we all know these people, they've come from nothing, they have great success, and then they're still humble. They're still loving people that share their knowledge and their wealth, and they don't look down on other people, and it's that kind of stuff. And this is where you're at by Sunday. There was a very long-winded way of saying it, but this is the best way I could say it. You know, you're up and down, you're crystallizing, you're learning, you're gaining balance to yourself, and you're moving forward, and you're also helping others as well. The acorn here is much larger. You know, it's that idea of plant an acorn and it will grow into a massive oak tree. This is your symbol of, you know, planting those small steps, those small ideas in others as well by Sunday, and those things will grow, but they take time. There's a slowness kind of aspect of that, but there's also a humbleness and a gentleness as well. But again, and we see those people, and we love those people who, you know, have so much success, and you look at them and you idolize them and whichever else, but they're just like your average Joe. There's nothing, yes, they have all this knowledge, this success, all the rest of it, but they'll happily take you under their wing. They'll happily share their knowledge. You know, it doesn't mean anything to them. And it's like, so the best way I can describe it as well, which I feel like it will resonate with some of you, because I feel like I've lost some of you, but there's a saying here in the Midlands, because I'm in the middle of England, but there's a saying here that, you know, you can take manure, so like actual poo, and you can hold it close to yourself and it will stink. Or you can spread it out in the community, and then we all grow from that. And it's the same thing with money. It's the same thing with knowledge. It's the same thing with anything else. You can hoard all of that stuff and keep it close to you, but then it starts to stink. It starts to turn. It starts to turn nasty or narcissistic or whichever else, or you can spread your wealth out into the community and watch everyone thrive. That's what this week is. I feel like I've still lost some of you, but it's fine. You'll see it. By the end of this week, come back, rewatch this, and you'll be like, oh, okay. So I'm supposed to share my knowledge, I'm supposed to share my wealth, I'm supposed to share, whichever else, and learn from my reflections. So just keep it to myself, kind of thing. Share my journal. Maybe I should have said it like that. That'd have been easier. Anyway. Here is your... I got this the right way around. No. Here is your fairy advice for the week. I want to go here. Yeah, like the darkness. There we go. Ancestors, ancestral line, generational shift. You see the fairy is on top of the ancestor here, the elf. The fairy is inspiration, but it's also... Hang on, sorry. There's a light. The fairy is also this humbleness. It's about sharing knowledge. It's like the light bulb moments that you have throughout the week and everything else, but also as a reflection. You stand on the shoulders of your ancestors, and this week is very much like towards the end of the week, towards Sunday, where you're like, okay, what can I do that helps others? Like, who can stand on my shoulders? And that's what this is. And it's like, share your knowledge. You have a lot to say. Share your wealth, share your experience. Write that book, jot things down in a journal, make notes of stuff. You never know who it can help. It's the same thing. It's like when I post these tarot videos, I have no idea. I mean, I forget the message partway through anyway, but I have no idea who it can help. I have no idea how things can resonate. I'm just being the messenger. I'm just sharing, Okay, I'm going to go, what's the tea? I'm getting used to these cards now. I've never used oracles like this before. So, oh, there's a lot. We're only taking one. Come on. There. In their head. Yeah, that's your worry. I was staring at that worry card. I do want to turn you around. Okay, uninterested. That's interesting. Interesting, uninterested. So, in their head, that's the worry thing. Making assumptions, creating stories, trust issues, showing this is, you not fully trusting in your power and just living in your head, living in that narrative. And, it serves a purpose. It's there to help you survive and all the rest of it, but it's not helpful right now. And this uninterested made me think of like the Queen of Wands, in that way of not necessarily being romantically interested, as this is suggesting, but just being uninterested in the things that used to interest you. If you were the kind of person that was really interested or invested in gossip and this, that, and the other, and then you go through a major transformation, a bereavement, whatever else, all of that stuff before feels trivial. It just feels noisy. And you're not pompous about the whole thing. You're not narcissistic or egotistic or overly showy. You're just removing yourself from those situations, from that stuff, and kind of being like, I'm not interested in going out and drinking Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday, all the way through, and wasting my weekend, when actually I'm going to cultivate, a future that I want. It's that kind of stuff. Time and a place. If you want to go out and drink all weekend, that's up to you. Time and a place. We'll get your happy-ish oracle deck. Yeah, no judgment here. Do what you want. I'm just using stuff as an example. Sometimes there are weekends where I'm like, I just want to go out and party, and then I actually do it and realize I am too old for this. You are loved. Yeah. People love you because you are lovable. Not because they have bad taste, not because they're mistaken, not because they're mistaken. Some of you need to hear that. Not because you've somehow tricked them into thinking you're a better version of yourself than you actually are. You are loved because you are worth loving. That comes into that worry aspect. You are love, you are loved. You are glorious, you're wonderful. And yeah, you're amazing. And I really hope by Sunday that you will truly see that and really start to see that. But thank you so much, pile one. That was your reading for this week. Please like and subscribe. It really helps me as a new YouTuber who's creating this work to gauge feedback, but also like it shares the message out to the people that really need it, and that would be fantastic. That's everything that I really, 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 truly want. Like, I love how these messages help people, and it's great to hear that, because you are just kind of talking into an abyss and there's no one else here, and you're just kind of like, oh, I really hope this resonates than anything else. But yeah, thank you so very much. Have a gorgeous week. Hello, pal 2. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to get started on your reading for the week. Timeless reading, entertainment purposes only, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, yada yada, you know, the whole kind of spiel. I'm going to be doing your fairy card, a happyish card, and then the what's the tea to understand. I feel like I cannot remember what your pal stuff tarot was for last week. I'm kind of stuttering over my words a little bit, but I feel like there's an exhaustion. I kind of want to take a deep breath in and kind of go, ugh, like that. That's what I'm hearing, is that kind of noise, you know, which makes me laugh. But it's that kind of thing. It's you kind of got to the end of the week and you're just being like, oh, it's another week again. Do I have to deal with another week? It's like that. But I feel like again, I think I said in the introduction, this feels like fairy dust, like you're coming along and just, you know, dropping fairy dust on people. And I don't know why I said it like that, but yeah. But it feels like you're giving away too much of your energy and you need to kind of recharge as well. Yeah. Yeah, some of you need to like watch movies Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, is that in frame? Saturday, Sunday, yeah. Some of you need that nostalgia. You need to like a video game. You need to watch movies. You need to do all that stuff. Was it your week, your pile the other week, or one of the weeks where I was saying about escapism, and like it's okay to escape into stuff? I can't remember. But if it was, it feels like an ongoing thing. Okay, Monday. Excuse me, there's something in my throat. It's like I want to say more, but there's like it's a tightness, like not being able to. I'm taking it as a not being able to kind of speak up with it, and that says a lot with Monday, with the swiftness kind of card, and Tuesday, Wednesday, interesting, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you got the universe. How interesting. What an interesting week. Okay, so you are very much in your feelings. You are very much in your emotions. Oh, I always forget she's nude. There we go. Is she? She's kind of covered. It's fine. So, yeah. Monday is all about swiftness. I keep wanting to, like, shift in my seat. There's, like, an adjustment. Like, I can't get comfortable. And that's what I'm feeling. It's like you can't get comfortable with some people. So you're having these conversations. You're having these conversations with yourself. You're talking out loud, which is not a sign of madness. You're allowed to talk out loud. There's so many thoughts. This is like there are too many tabs open, and there's somebody's playing music, and it's like that kind of stuff. There's a lot of noise. You know, there's not. There's hope and there's love. You've got the rainbow, which is great, and there's a kind of joy and celebration, but also like it feels in the way that you're balancing too many plates, you're balancing too many things, you're holding too many people up, you know, and you've neglected yourself. And I really want to be like, kind of shake you and just be like, pick yourself. I can't remember if it was your pal in one of the last couple of weeks, but I feel like this is a repeated pattern of not putting yourself first. It's not to say you're a doormat, but it's like a lot of you are the big sibling kind of thing, or the parental figure, or one of those, and it's like you need, and obviously if you have children, young kids, whichever, you know, that goes without saying, you need to care for them and look after them, and you know, stay up later to make sure they've turned the PlayStation off, or whatever it is, you know. But I feel like there is a neglection of your needs, and I want to be like, okay, well, what can you do with your kids? For example, I mean, I'm saying this as someone that doesn't have kids. So just take what resonates, but like what can you do with your kids in terms of that would help you out? You know, my mum was wonderful. I mean, she still is wonderful, but if she needed help, she needed someone to cook, whichever else, we did that. We helped out. You know, everything wasn't always on her. You know, and we were expected to, and we were taught to, and we didn't have to be paid to do that. There was like a kind of a real thing of, you're doing this, or you're grounded. There's a sternness and an expectation from my mum. You know, and we would help out. I mean, we'd moan and we'd, you know, throw a tantrum and this, that, and the other, but we'd get things done, and then it'd be fine. So again, I don't have kids. I know for a lot of you and a lot of different situations, it's a lot harder than what I'm saying. But what I'm trying to say is, like, use the example of ask for help, get help with whoever that's around you, because I feel like you're not supported. I feel like you're holding everyone up, and people expect you to hold them up, and that's not fair. That's what I'm getting. So, like, because the Princess of Cups is really, for me in this card, is really about caring and loving yourself as well. I'm really drawn to that kind of fish here, which could bite, but has chosen not to. There's a, you know, you're keeping emotions and everything in check, but it's also very much of, you need to kind of fill up your own well, because you're running on empty, and which is where that really kind of hits ahead on Wednesday, where you literally have nothing else to give. And I feel like some of you, again, entertainment purposes, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, but you know, Wednesday, there's sickness. You know, you're feeling like really under the weather, you're drained, you can't do anything else, you have nothing else to give. And people are still knocking on your door, they're still clicking, they're still demanding. You know, I feel like I'm going to lose my voice. I feel like, because I've got a wisdom tooth trying to come out, that feels really painful right now, where it hasn't bothered me in all but one of the other readings, which might be one of yours, part one, actually, from the other week. Yeah, it feels like a repeat pattern. You know, Thursday we've got number 4, we're in our authority era, we're in our emperor, we're in our kind of no messing kind of stage here, like full Aries, this needs doing and we're getting things done, we're taking control of situations as well. Friday, I'm just breezing through this because it's not a huge thing, there's not massive changes at all. It just feels like your normal everyday life readjustment, but I just feel like you're not filling your own well, you're not taking time out for yourself, you're managing too many things. And then you've got Friday where you are asking and offering for help, but doing maybe a switch. So it might be a case of, I've got kids in my head again, but it's like, okay, well, I'll readjust this week, you know, your dad or your mum or whoever are going to pick you lot up 4 days this week instead of 5, or you go into so-and-so's for the week, you go into grandparents for a week and you're having a week off. This is more, you're getting the help that you need, you're asking more for what you need and what you want as well, and it's topping you up with this. You know, you're refilling your cup. You've got the peacock here, which kind of tells me you're focusing more on yourself and your own needs and your vanity and all of that, and just lifting yourself up. That's what this feels like. Yeah. And then Saturday, you know, excuse me, we've got the priestess. And again, I'm drawn to the camel. I'm drawn to kind of everything kind of in the background. And the thing is with the priestess, she is all energy, all everything. And she is glorious. And she's the nakedness in these cards. You can see the nakedness here. It's not, it means vulnerability as opposed to like a sexual thing. She's got her bow on her lap as well, which shows me about kind of alignment. And this is about the practices that you were dealing with, you know, the day before on the Friday, the way you were taking control on the Thursday. You're putting things into place fully on the Saturday. And you're kind of being like, okay, I can't help you, but so-and-so can help you. I can't clean the house and do this and do that and the other, so I'm going to need help. And that could be getting other people to help you clean. That could be getting a cleaner in. I'm seeing things that are like every day as opposed to monumental, and I'm seeing things more in the kind of hearth and home and family and that kind of stuff as opposed to work and everything else. I feel like for some of you this will relate more to work and you'll know what it relates to, but it just feels like the everyday. It's not over dramatic. It's not, you know, a big shift and stuff. It just feels like how you're dealing with the everyday. And I feel like you really need to learn to fill up, to balance and to fill up your well, to not, you can still help others without sacrificing yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. Because things are going to get, there's like a forward movement coming, a forward momentum coming, and things are going to move at a quicker space. And if you are already running on empty when, you know, you've got like a house move coming up, or you've got a change of jobs, a career, whatever else, you're going to burn out so quick. Yeah, there's a forward movement coming up. So we've got the universe, which is everything is in alignment. And this is about looking at the hearth and home. So the universe as the center, the universe as your family, the universe that is manifested in the now, if that makes sense. And about getting things into alignment with this whole thing. You know, I'm looking at the animals. It's almost like, this feels like family driving you crazy. Anything else. And like work and yeah, learning. Some of you are trying to learn multiple things. Some of you are trying to improve yourself. And I just want to be like, rest. This is you. It's the universe. This is almost like a womb. And you're going back into the womb. You're resting. You're refilling your cup. You're sitting in your emotions. That's why it has that kind of bluey greeny color. All the kind of bluey greens you can see throughout the different cards, apart from here where they're stagnant. That's like your emotion. That's filling your well, filling your cups, giving you everything that you need as well. So by Sunday, you've got things more into alignment. You're really looking and you've reevaluated everything that you need, and you're feeling a lot more balanced and a lot more like in tune with the universe, but also in tune. It's not just the universe as in the higher power. It's like the universe that is whatever your bubble is. So like your home bubble, your work bubble, your romantic bubble, everything's a bit more in alignment. When I'm talking children, some of you work with kids as well. You'll know what it is and take it as it resonates. Oh, there's a lot. Well, you're upside down, so we'll take you first. Clout hungry, viral or nothing, lives for attention, makes shit up for drama. So we all know people like that. That's not you, because I'm getting that reverse. That's you changing the narrative of that. That's what that is. Yeah, we're taking all of them. Caught a case. Sexual infection, sexual disease, rash, etc. Nice. That's some of you will be literal, and some of you is literally more a case of you're protecting yourself from other things. How do you want to sit? Yeah, you want to sit upright. You're protecting yourself. Maybe you're protecting yourself from these kind of people as well. Yeah. Dirt digging, snooping for secrets, trying to expose you. Tables might turn. Okay, you want to sit sideways. Okay, I want to sit sideways. So this feels a bit of both. I'm going to put that there. Yeah, dirt digging definitely feels like, that's interesting. Okay. Dirt digging feels more here in the swiftness. That's about having conversations with other people and reflecting your needs and everything you want. And maybe, let me move that over. And maybe also the case for some of you, you're trying to dig for how somebody would react, kind of the impact and the ripple effect of it, but actually they're digging on you. I just keep hearing this kind of, you coming to loggerheads with somebody, and they have every means, they have the time, they have everything in order to help and do stuff for you, but they really don't want to. And it's almost like they're turning it on the head and being like, well, if I do that for you, I won't have time to do this or to do that. And you're like, I'm literally holding you up. The only reason you have time to do all those things that you want to do is because I'm supporting you. It's that kind of stuff. And it's having direct conversations with that. Fake flexing, acts rich, flushes money, acts fancy, it shows showing off, etc. So yeah, that's somebody that goes with this. I feel like there's multiple people for some of you that you're dealing with where, yeah, you're seeing the real truth of stuff and you're taking authority of it. Because again, it's putting other people's before yourself. Girl fight. Jealous vibes, arguments, physical fight. I don't agree with the fact that it says girl fight, but anyway, we're going to continue. Physical fight, arguments. I want to put this here. So that is you fighting for your voice, fighting. I'm hearing fight for your right to party. That's a silliness. That's you turning things into humor. That's you, yeah, fighting for your voice and knowing what you want and asking for help and just saying you won't prop people up anymore. Like, you've kind of had enough. And I've forgotten to pull your fairy card. I keep doing that. So your advice for the week. With these, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Yeah. Unconditional love. So Beauty and the Beast. You can see how beautiful the fairy is and how loved she is. And you can see there's people that adore her. There's people that are jealous. And then you've got people that, you know, kind of look up to her, but also will quite happily stab her in the back. And other people that are just kind of creeping in the distance, snooping and stuff. And she doesn't care. She knows her worth. She knows her value. She knows that she unconditionally loves herself. She's kind of like patting that person on the head, being like, yeah, whatever. And that's you, especially towards the end of the week. Sorry, I hit the camera. Towards the end of the week, just knowing your full value and being like, just putting your foot down. This is a standing my ground, putting my foot down. This is what I need. This is what I'm going to get. And just know your true value. Stand up for yourself. Fill up your own cup. Put yourself first. Yes. You're not a loser. I promise you aren't. People make mistakes. People learn. People try things and aren't good at them on the first try. People feel lonely and lost and like aliens in people's suits trying to figure out how everyone else is somehow okay. By the way, people are not okay. You're not a loser. You're just a person. This idea of like people are okay, they're living a glorious life, the Instagram life, it's that kind of stuff. It's all BS. I feel like everyone that I talk to, including myself, and people all around the world are not okay. We're just trying to figure things out. We're just trying to, like, it's trial and error. You know, we're not losers. We're not this, that, and the other. We're not, you know, so what if you don't have a big fancy car or live in this big kind of house or, you know, whatever else, live that Instagram life. Who freaking cares? Who cares? It doesn't make you a loser. Most of that stuff's fake anyway. Fake flexing. You are not a loser. You deserve to be loved and to be loved. I'll say that again. You deserve to be loved and to be loved. You are glorious. You know, Pearl 2, you are glorious. Fill your own cup. And that is your week. I hope that resonated. I hope that helps. Please like and subscribe. It's really, really helpful. And yeah, it just means this message kind of gets out to all the people that needs to. I can keep making these videos. That'd be really great. And yeah, thank you so much. Have a glorious week. Please fill your own cup. Hello, Pal 3. Thank you for coming to your reading. As ever, please take what resonates, leave what doesn't. I haven't looked at these cards yet, so we're going to get into it. I said all in the intro about your butterfly and which one to pick, but it's giving me like eyes, watching, looking, you know, that kind of protectiveness as well, protecting yourself, protecting your space, protecting your energy, and yeah, more of a Halloween-y kind of vibe and situation. So we've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's all in the frame. Cool. Monday. Ooh, we're still... Was it you, part 3, for last week? Cutting people off. I feel like was it your Sunday that ended with like cutting people off, and then your Monday, your following Monday, starts with cutting people off, getting rid of people, getting rid of the noise, getting rid of stuff you don't need. For some of you, it's really simple, like selling stuff on Vinted or selling stuff on eBay, or just getting rid of having a spring clean, just getting rid of stuff. And for a lot of you, it is literally like you're getting rid of people that don't, that don't have your best interests at heart. You're also removing yourself from people pleasing. You're standing up for yourself, and it's that kind of stuff. And then Tuesday, Tuesday is very much, so you can see Monday is cutting people off. Here you've got the sort of clarity at the top. The chariot is moving. They're going to plow these people over no matter what, and there's a real focus here. Whereas Tuesday, you've got the number 4, which is authority. You're in your zone, your element. You're re-looking at your structures, your health, employment. Health is physical, mental, emotional, spiritual health, all of that. Employment, housing, financial. Really putting your reinforcements up, and see the water is calm around it, and you're like, no, I have myself. I have my boundaries. I feel like for some of you, you'll be working on your actual physical space, as in your environment, and not necessarily your house, but also your office. Maybe some of you, have too much clutter around your desk, and you're just having a bit of a clear out, and you're, putting down crystals or, plants with good vibes and that kind of stuff, and you're just creating a space that's yours and for you. And then we've got Wednesday, prudence. Thursday, interesting, Prince of Cups. So another Prince as an opposite. Friday, completion. Saturday is disappointment. And Sunday is Princess of Wands. I feel like it's your group that had Princess of Wands before. So prudence, for me, I always see this as patience. Even though prudence and patience are two kind of different things. But yeah, this feels like you're protecting. I talked about here your different towers, your different foundations, your different spaces, or kind of things that you balance. It tends to be in your family, work, romantic, all the rest of it. You're protecting your energy, you're protecting your vibes, you're protecting your ideas, your hopes, your manifestations. You're not sharing your work out to other people. You're doing things in, I'm hearing silo, in like quietness, and you're not asking people or telling people of what you're doing. It's like keep them guessing kind of thing on Wednesday. I feel like the number 8 is really important for some of you. I feel like some of you are looking to move house, or you're looking for like an apartment or a new area, whichever else. Look for a door for the number 8, because I'm seeing a door with the number 8 on it, and like a horseshoe, which is a lucky sign. I can't share the visual of exactly what I'm seeing and how it represents, but that's the information that I can give you. I can't share it just because it has a personal thing to it, but I feel like, yeah, number 8 is a lucky thing. Prince of Cups, he is over the sea of emotions. He's in this full kind of power here. This lotus is about receiving and giving as well, and he's focusing on his transformation, which is the snake here. And this just sort of tells me that, by the time you get from Monday to Thursday, Thursday, you're reevaluating, you're re-looking at everything from a distance, because if you dive, into the emotional depths, you'll drown. If you give and receive kind of too much, the lotus flowers become stagnant. And if you stare too much at your transformation, you missed everything else. So it's about keeping everything into a balance as well here. With Thursday, you've got a very straightforward week, which I feel like is nice for you guys, as opposed to like an up and down. It's a very like action based. I know what I'm doing this. This is what we're dealing with, but it's still very much a mindfulness. I'm in this present moment type thing. I feel like for some of you, you need a bit of a recharge. So maybe just like go to bed early if you can and chill out. watch some TV, listen to a podcast, whatever else. Some of you don't have a TV in your bedrooms. That's fine. But just do something cozy as well. And then we've got I was going to say competition. Maybe some of you have been in like a work-based competition with people, whichever else. You get the results on Friday. So Friday is all about completion. It is everything in that circle is completed. No, there's no stone left unturned kind of thing. Everything is in fruition. Your projects, if you've started projects before this point, you know, there's a sense of it's all done. Maybe you've been cutting people off, you're moving house, you're starting a new life. It's all of that. You're getting rid of people. By Friday, the hard work is done. And then on Saturday, we sit in our disappointment. Because this to me doesn't feel like there's any new news, there's anything that comes to light. I feel like you can see everything that's coming. But this is you sitting in your feeling of disappointment. You know, sometimes life, the reality of life doesn't live up to the same expectation as, you know, how we have the vision in our head. So say, for example, you wanted to, by the time you reach 40, you wanted to have so many kids, you wanted to be married, you wanted to do this, that, and the other. And then you get to nearly 40 or 40 and you're like, oh, okay, I'm divorced 4 times. I don't have any kids. I don't have this, that, and the other. Like, the reality of it is different. And that's okay. That's okay to be like that. That we don't know every single thing. I know this is hilarious because I'm about to say this while doing a tarot reading, but we don't always know everything that's around the corner. And that's okay. You know, this is why we say take what resonates, leave what doesn't. It's sometimes with tarot, it's a guide to guide you there. It's also sometimes a sign to tell you or make you reflect on what it is that you actually need. So I'm going to give you an example because I feel like some of you need to hear this. Years ago, I had a tarot reading from a very, very well-known tarot reader. He was wonderful and he was absolutely on point about everything. But there was something he said when he was talking about an ex-partner of mine. I'm literally spilling the tea here and like giving you the gossip. But he was saying about my ex-partner, but he was saying it in a way of being like, so he is going to go off and he's going to have these many children, he's going to be married, he's going to be this, that, and the other. And he looked me square in the face and just said, it is up to you if you want to be a part of that. And I just kind of saw, you know, that moment where your life flashes before your eyes, or like my future. And I thought, that's not what I want. I thought it was. I had an expectation. But when it was presented, the reality of it was different. And actually I went, no. And I didn't say anything. I took away from the reading. I let the relationship play out as it was. And we ended up breaking up. And he has since lived the exact life that tarot reader said. He's had those many kids. He's had, you know, the marriage. He's had this, that, and the other. And I'm sure he's very happy. That's great. But I'm happier now than I ever was. And I think I would be happier now than if I'd have stayed in that relationship. Does that make sense? Tarot does that sometimes, where it goes, here are the options. Here are the things. Here is the disappointment. Things come into completion, but here is the disappointment. And we're allowed to sit in that disappointment for a minute. Or however long. It doesn't have to be a minute. But we will come out of it better. You know, we acknowledge the feelings. We acknowledge everything there. And we acknowledge the life that could have been. And that's fine. But when you put yourself first and you put your joy first, shall I say, you can never go wrong. And that's what I'm trying to say to a lot of you, and that's what a lot of you in part 3 are doing. You know, your Princess of Wands, I feel like you've had this before. I don't know if to cover a butt. I'll cover a butt. You can see the Tiger of Fear, which is in the Fool card, is there. It's still connected. This is very much a card of, I feel the fear and I'm going to do it anyway, kind of thing. She's got her antlers. Oh, you don't have antlers, but you've got like a bird there, you know, which is wisdom. You've got the Sun card, which is a yes. It's about saying yes to yourself as well as saying yes to life. Yeah. The future that I thought I wanted when faced with the reality of it, is not what I truly needed and what I truly, truly wanted. It's not what would have made me happy. And I feel like some of you really need to hear that, you know, and we can be disappointed that that situation, that relationship, that future, whatever, didn't manifest. You can still hold, you can be more than one thing. You can still hold those things in a level, in like a scale. But pick yourself, pick your joy, which is what I feel like you're doing, you know, and you'll be okay. You're dealing with a lot of like internal emotions this week. There's a lot of like inward. I'm seeing like somebody hold a torch but face it inside themselves, like face it towards their chest, and it always becomes like an x-ray. I'm seeing that. That I feel like will resonate more with some of you than others, but it's fine. If it doesn't resonate, just pick another pile or skew away. There's loads of tarot readers on here. I'm just telling you what I get. So I don't mind. I'm not saying that in a horrible way of being like, if you don't agree with me, get lost. No, I don't care. You know, you never know who these readings are for. So just take what you need. Are you coming out? Yeah, no facts. I feel like you've got this before, like all vibes, no receipts, talking nonsense. I feel like some of you, it is really a separation. And this is not to say you're going to bounce back into a new relationship straight away, but you're like living for yourself now. Yeah, travel, go traveling. Journey, go do the things that maybe you were with someone who didn't like to travel, who didn't, because that was the thing with the ex. When I tell you the story, I saw my life like literally to the point where if I'd have followed that journey, I would have never left my hometown. And it's not quite my hometown, but the hometown, the village, I would have never have gone on all the adventures that I'd gone on. I'd never traveled. I'd never met the friends that, you know, have become my best friends, because I never would have got to make those decisions, because I never would have been in that same situation if I'd chosen the other path. And yes, there is the whole thing about fate and destiny, and I've said this a couple times before, you know, it's, and I always forget the word for it, but it's like, you know, if you were going to, say we're going to travel and you were going to Scotland, I'm in England, for example. If I was going to Scotland, there's a couple of different things that I could do. I could get on a plane, I could get in a car, I could car share, I can get on a coach, I can get on a train. There's so many different options. Those options are my choice. Granted, with whatever it is, whether it's financial or whatever influences, it's still my choice. I'm still going to get to Scotland, you know? I'm still going to reach my destination. Sorry, I hit the camera. And that is fate and destiny. That is the, I keep forgetting this word, but like those choices are what you do for yourself. It's your own self-influence. Oh my God, that word is going to annoy me, but I'm still going to get to Scotland. And that's the whole thing. Stalker. So somebody's lurking online, still checking your stories, obsession, never left. So we're cutting these people off. Inside scoop, a closer look, nosy, up close in your business. Yeah. So this inside scoop doesn't just remind me of a nosy kind of neighbor, but it also reminds me of, you know, when people kind of like clickbait in real life, where they'll come up to you and be like, oh, so-and-so was talking about you. Do you want to hear what they said? And you have to turn around and be like, nope, I do not care. You know, people that stir drama, all facts, sorry, no facts, all vibes, whatever else. And then, you know, you have an argument or you confront this person and they're like, no, I didn't say that. And obviously the person who's then doing the inside scoop is like, oh, maybe I heard it wrong. Like, there's no accountability at all. You know, just get rid of these people. Get them out of your life. Even if you have to like work with them or family or whatever, just take as little time as, oh my God, I forgot your fairy card. But take as little time as possible to like be around them, because those people are exhausting. Your fairy card for the week, and then I'll do your happy-ish oracle card. Oh, I want that one. Far, far away. Yeah, far, far away, creative dreaming, daydreaming. This comes in line with the travel card and with, and with the prince. Oh, jeez. There we go. The Princess of Wands. There we go. You know, this idea of creative daydreaming, being far, far away, that completion, just taking yourself out of a situation as well. You know, that could be mentally, you know, if you can't necessarily, if you have to work with, you know, horrible people while you look for another job. It is that kind of dream further and dream bigger. What is your happy-ish? It's this one. Let's put that there. You get to name it. If you're not careful, you might believe the people who tell you who you are. All facts, no vibes, stalker, scoop. Yes, you literally cannot make this stuff up. But you are the owner of your own story. Everything that we've been saying. We are all allowed to hold our own experiences up to the light and decide what to call them. Yeah, Princess of Wands, here we go. And to define them for ourselves and explain or not explain. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Whatever that meaning is to the people around us. Let me read it all in full because I got overexcited and split that up. You get to name it. If you're not careful, you might believe the people who tell you who you are. But you are the owner of your story. We are all allowed to hold our own experiences up to the light and decide what to call them. To define them for ourselves and explain or not explain whatever the meaning is to the people around us. And that is your week pile 3. Thank you so very much. Please like and subscribe. Please comment, give me feedback. Please share. You know, all that kind of engagement helps me as a new YouTuber just get these messages out there, and I can keep making them. And I hope this resonated and it was really helpful for you. And thank you so much for giving me your time. Appreciate it. Lots of love. Bye.